Hello dear viewers and welcome to the Musings of Maverick channel. I'm your host Maverick, where today we're going to be starting a new series, Maou-sama, Retry. So, for any of you new guys who are here, new viewers to my channel, let me just give you guys a quick overview of what my channel is actually about. So, for each of these series that I'm doing, I will typically divide my video into 3 different parts, right? The first part would be the introduction, if I'm just starting a series, or a recap of the last episode if it's already an ongoing series. The middle part would be the blind reaction part, so if you guys like to watch reactions, you can go there, although I'm not really that much of a hype guy, if you will. And then finally, the main meat or main focus of my channel is in the after part, the review, the musings part, hence my channel name, Musings of Maverick. Right. So anyways, they'll all be timestamped below, so you can just jump to whichever section you want if you want to skip the other stuff that you're not that interested in. But anyways, so that's a quick overview. So let's just jump into an introduction part right now. And so what exactly is Maou-sama Retry, right? And more specifically, for probably a lot of my old viewers, you're probably wondering, why the heck are you watching this anime out of all the isekais of this season, right? Because this isekai, this anime, is probably the least well known out of all the isekais or the, these fantasy animes of this season, and it also probably looks the most, generic and most accessible to being a bad one, right? And those are all valid points, right? So again, we should probably go back and first explore what exactly is this work. So Maou-sama Retry is a web novel. Its source is a web novel. Again, a lot of the isekais, a lot of the, the animes, especially fantasy animes that we love, they come from the same web novel site, right? There's this big one in Japan where everybody basically goes there. And if you do get a work out as a web novel, eventually publishers will come and say they want to license your work and then turn it into a light novel and even potentially into a manga and anime and various other goods, right? So that's how the entire system works. Now, Maou-sama is actually, again, so it was a light novel and it turned into, it was a web novel and it turned into a light novel, and it also has a manga, and it also has an anime, as we are seeing right here. In fact, the light novel is only 3 volumes. The manga is, I believe, 2 volumes, and now it's already got an anime, right? So you're wondering, so why the heck is it progressing so fast, right? Well, it is actually a work with quite a lot of potential. It actually got an award in I believe, the 5th web novel contest or competition or something. So it was one of the top 5 web novels during that year out of like thousands of web novels. So I personally have seen I've read the manga, and I gotta say I absolutely love it. So, but it's again, for some of you guys who are watching, who've been longtime viewers of my channel, you might think, oh, so this might be one with a lot of depth, a lot of cool mechanics and whatnot. No. I'm just gonna tell you right now, this is not that kind of work, right? This is absolutely just a funny, over-the-top isekai, and that is what it essentially boils down to, right? If you're coming here expecting a shield hero with the character relations, if you're expecting something like Tensura, like Slime, with, a vast world, or if you're expecting something like, I don't know, like ReZero or Konosuba, those works with, I guess, a little bit more substance to them, this is not that at all. Like, maybe it'll occur sometime down the road, but so far what's got me hooked on it and what it actually excels in is in the humor, right? And I'm talking over-the-top humor. So if that's not the type of humor you like, then you probably wouldn't like this as well. So, looking at this, the setting, right? So the setting is, probably evident from the title, right? Or the synopsis. It's a Maou-sama. It's a demon lord. So you might you might be tempted to compare it with something like Overlord, right? Well, again, it's not really like that. So yeah, the main characters are sort of badass in their own way, if you will, and they are all misunderstood and whatnot, and there are similarities between them. I won't say there aren't. There are a lot of similarities between them. But at the end, like I said, Maou-sama Retry is one that's more focused on over-the-top humor than anything else. So let's just get that out of the way, right? And like I said, I absolutely do love it because I love over-the-top humor, right? Gintama is one of my favorite series of all time. Now, I'm not saying that this series is worthy of being compared with Gintama, but I'm just saying it's from a similar vein of humor, right? So, even with all that said, though, now there are a lot of question marks I have about especially the anime adaptation in general, right? So first of all, the first question mark against it is in the studio that's animating it, which is Ikachi Epiluka, or what, however the heck you pronounce that. You've probably never heard of it, I've never heard of it, and it's no wonder, right? It's a relatively new studio, it's founded in 2017, and they have exactly one other work which they were in charge of before this one. For the rest, I believe they're sort of like contractors for other major studios. So, you know, they are a relatively unproven studio. So that's already the first strike against this anime adaptation. The second part, in regards to the director, I gotta say, you know, I have no idea who the director is. Of course, I looked him up, but by looking him up, I found that he's only directed works that are of questionable quality, if you will. So that's another question mark against this anime adaptation again. Finally, we go to the voice actors. Well, there are a few familiar names here and there, but as we probably know by now, having good voice actors does not necessarily mean that it can save a bad work, right? You generally need other stuff, and you can't really carry a work just by the voice acting alone. So there are a lot of potential issues with this, right? But like I said, I do love the source material, and if it's at least half as funny as the source material is, I would be pleased, and I believe I would probably watch it to the end, right? So, but in any case, let's just find out if that proves to be true or not. Alrighty, so let's just begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, and I probably also have to warn you guys, the beginning is actually a little bit slow. Alright, it's... anyways. So, since I have read this manga before, I guess you can't really say that this is a blind reaction, if you will. So yeah, I guess you can't really say this is blind. It's just blind in the sense that I haven't seen the anime adaptation before, but I already know, probably everything that they're going to adapt. Like I said, there's only 2 volumes of the manga and 3 volumes of the light novel. They can't really adapt that much. So I guess maybe I should change the way that I do this series. So since I already know what this is, I'll try to explain some things that maybe they didn't explain properly, if you will. And if it isn't evident by now, you know, the early young guy that we saw, he was the, I believe he was the system admin or something of this game. And while he was doing one final login to check on things, he got sucked into the game world. Alright, and so here's the opening, so let me just mute the music. But we will watch the opening, at least for the first episode. Ah. You might be wondering, like, oh, this looks like it has a lot of fan service and whatnot. I guess, in a way you could say it's true. Like I said, it doesn't take itself seriously at all. It just does whatever it wants to do. Oh, Elephant Garden made this song. And don't be fooled by, you know, them looking all serious and whatnot. It's not serious at all. Alright. And of course, if you guys can guess already, he is way overpowered. Like, there is no leveling up, ramping up at all. Like I said, it's also meta work, but then again, being a meta work isn't really that new nowadays as well. Oh? Wait, was that what happened in the manga? I think I kind of forgot. But like I said, in case you can guess, he's way overpowered for this world. And if you're wondering why he's, even though he's a demon lord, he dresses like, you know, a member of the mafia, that will be explained later on. So Aku means evil. That's the reason why he's being like, he wants to laugh at the situation. And yes, there are angels and saints in this world. The three holy maidens. And I'm sure that, you know, probably there's a lot of people already going like, hey, this girl seems like a certain raccoon girl from last season. Well, again, no, it's not not really similar at all. In fact, you can even say that she doesn't really do much in the end. So here again, if I was going to this completely blind, I would probably start talking about, oh, so they're going to try and explain the systems, the mechanics and whatnot, you know, the point system, skill system. Well, all I can say is, even though there was an attempt to do something like that, no, in the end, that does not matter at all. Of course, that's not the situation. So again, if you guys are, you know, a little bit, you know, dubious of the relationship of these two, it's really much more like father and daughter, I gotta say. Again, this might be subject to change because, like I said, the source material isn't really that deep yet. This animation.
そして近隣の森をねぐらとし、近くの村に生贄を捧げさせていた。
So again, you might be wondering, how come the story is sort of progressing at a very fast rate, right? Like it seems that this idol just appeared out of nowhere. Well, that's what happened in the manga as well. This is like quite irrelevant to the actual story of Maou-sama. Again, no idea if the author actually has, a set story in mind in regards to this entire beginning. But so far as I can see, up to now, it's... Well, that ring is important, I can say that. But this beginning intro part doesn't really have much relation with the latter stories. Oh. Are we gonna meet the saint this episode? This animation. Holy crap. Hmm? I don't quite remember this part, actually. Oh. Yeah, the ring is kind of important. But, anyways, we'll get to that. Huh. This is actually quite different from the... At least it's different from my memories. Okay, so they're not gonna meet the saint this episode. I mean, the holy maidens, or whatever they... End? Alright. That was a quick ending. So again, maybe we'll just take a look at the ending. But I will be muting the music. And yeah, this, you might be wondering, hey, what the heck? Fantasy? What the heck does that have to do with this ending, right? It's related. It's related. You might be noticing the discrepancy between how they dress and whatnot. That is kind of important. Alright. Oh, so this is the preview? We don't need to watch this. I'll see you guys in a second. Alright, so at the very ending there, they actually made another joke, the Demon Lord that is, and that, you know, give him time to wipe his hard drive before being transferred into Isekai world. You know, it's not really an original joke, so whatever, right? Probably more importantly is, like I said, do take note of the aesthetic of the characters that appear during the ending song, and then contrast that with the opening song or the world that we see right now. It's kind of different, right? And that is an important part of what happens later on. And it might have something to do with the overall plot or the real meat of the story as well, but unfortunately, like I said, I have only read the manga. I've not read the light novels or the web novels, so the manga is also relatively short in the material that it's adapted so far. So I'm not really sure how much of a big backstory or big underlying story there is to this, or is this an author that really thought things through already, and he has this, you know, this epic backstory already waiting there? Or is it just like a lot of web novels, and they're just doing it as they go? They're making stuff up as they go. Personally, I would say it's more of the latter, right? But anyways, for me, personally, I watch this series not for any serious stuff, if you will. I watch it purely for the comedy, and that's, you know, that's what this is. You know, it's kind of funny because, you know, for those of you guys who already watch my channel, or for those of you guys who are new here and just listen to my opening introduction, you would know that, you know, this is a channel that's more focused on, first of all, blind reactions, and second of all, trying to go more in depth, if you will, trying to do some analysis, some theory crafting, some predictions. And for this series, well, it's not blind because I've read the manga before, and also this is a series that really you cannot take seriously. You cannot take seriously anything that this anime or this work does. It's not meant to be logical. It's meant to be illogical, and that's the fun part about this, right? And, you know, like I said, like I was saying, even though we are introduced to Aku here, you might be thinking that, okay, so she's the female lead, I guess. I wouldn't really say so. At least as far as I've read up to now, it's, you know, she has pretty limited screen time, let me tell you that. And it's definitely not a romantic relationship between her and the Demon Lord, if you will. It's really more of a, if any, a father-child relationship. And in fact, I would even go on to say that really romance, this series is devoid of romance. Even though, okay, you might see some tropes and makings of a harem and whatnot, really, there's no romance at all. If there's any romance, it's only to set up a comedic situation. And that's, you know, really, that's what this series is about, as far as I can tell right now. It's all to set up comedic situations. Even the action, like, the action of this is definitely not spectacular in any way, and partially because the Demon Lord is so OP, he basically one-shots everyone anyways. And so, you know, sure, there'll be from time to time, there'll be some cool action sequences, but even so, they're all really just in order for the work to set up another comedic situation further down the line, if you will. So really, it all ties back to comedy. Is there an overarching story or whatnot? Maybe. Even if there was, we're probably not going to get that within this season, since there's only 12 episodes. Although they are adapting stuff pretty fast, right? So, by this pacing, maybe next episode we'll probably meet one of the 3 female saints, which was mentioned here. I believe they called it Holy Maiden Saints, similar kind of stuff, and that's where the fun really begins, right? So, you know, Aku is Aku, right? So yeah, fine, some people find her adorable, some people are like, another lolly, whatever. But like I said, when the Holy Maidens come onto the scene, that's when things really start to get interesting, and that's when you really see, okay, so this is not a work that is going to take itself seriously at all. It's really for humor and comedy. So yeah, if there's any specific questions that you guys have in regards to this work, I'll leave them down below, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability, like whether you're on the fence of whether you want to watch this or not, or, you know, stuff like that. Otherwise, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and if not, well, I can't blame you. This is definitely not a series for everyone, and like I said, even though it's kind of funny that I'm doing this series on my channel, it's fun, damn it, and I want to watch it. So if it doesn't really turn out to be a good material for making a series, maybe I'll just cut it and watch it on my own time. But for now, I'm going to try to make it into a series on my channel. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This is Maverick signing off. Oh, by the way, next week I'm actually going to be traveling on a business trip, so I won't be able to do the next video of Maou-sama Retry, episode 2 on time, right? I'm gone for the entire week next week, so it'll probably be delayed maybe up to a week. I might just combine it with episode 2 and 3. We'll see. But just a heads up for you guys, if this is something that you guys want to watch and you are anticipating. So, like I said, this is Maverick signing off. Bye bye.